Have you ever tried to do a nail trim at home and had a bloody massacre, and you swear you'd never do it again? Then this video is for you. Listen, it's happened to the best of us. I'm Dr. Sally and I'm a veterinarian. I've been doing nail trims for over 20 years, and it still happens to me once in a while and to my staff. My passion as a veterinarian is holistic medicine, and to me that means keeping their whole body healthy, and this starts even at the tip of their toes. In this video, I'm going to give expert tips with close-up videos to try and make your life easier. Hopefully this simple and practical advice will make you feel more comfortable to give it a try again at home. Keeping your dogs and cats' nails trimmed to the appropriate length is so important for their overall health. If the claws are too long, this changes the sensory information that they're getting from their paws and can throw their whole nervous system off. Before we get into the nitty-gritty on the how-tos of a nail trim, I wanted to mention a couple of things that you can do other than nail trims that can help keep their claws shorter, which might decrease the frequency that they need nail trims. For dogs, taking them on walks on the cement can act as a natural nail file, especially for the back toes. But don't forget the dew claws, because these don't touch the ground. I've seen these dew claws forgotten and grown into the pads, and that can be really painful. So please be mindful of that if your pet has dew claws. And in my philosophy, movement is medicine. So taking them on walks is good for their mental and physical stimulation. As for cats, offering sandpaper or cardboard scratch pads can act as a natural nail file as well, if your kitties will use them. As cats get older, I also see that they don't shed the sheath of their nails, so I've seen those grow into their pads as well. So it's very important to keep an eye on your kitties' toenails as they get older. I recommend nail trims in cats and dogs every 1 to 2 months. That sort of depends on the lifestyle of your pet, but that is a good rule of thumb. If you wait longer than that, both in cats and dogs, their nails just get too long, and I see injuries of torn toenails in dogs, and owners often tell me that their cat's nails will get caught in the carpet. And also when they're making biscuits, that's really uncomfortable when their nails are too long. Cat nail trims are quite a bit easier than dog nail trims, especially if you have 2 people. But I do show you some tips on how to try to do it alone. Hopefully my tips and tricks will help you with your kitties, because we all know it's a struggle to try to get your kitty to the vet. I've attached a link to a previous video on less stressful ways to get your cat to the vet in the description and also at the end of this video. If you happen to be watching this and you have a kitten or a puppy, it's the perfect time to start with desensitization therapy using positive reinforcement, giving tons of treats, restraining them, and massaging their feet to get them used to having a nail trim. If you do this from the get-go, that will make your life a lot easier in the long run. But if you tried before and failed and looking to try again, these are where my tips and tricks can come in very handy. Now, I know that this won't work for every pet, but hopefully there's a pearl of information that you can gain from this video that might just make it click where you can do your nail trims at home. But I do understand this won't work for every pet. Even some of our doctors and staff pets have to be sedated for nail trims, so it's not you. Sometimes it's just that particular pet. Here are 4 things that will make your life a lot easier when trying to do nail trims. Of course, you need nail trimmers. These are the ones that I recommend. They will last the lifetime of your pet. I also recommend having something like Quick Stop on hand in case you do hit the quick or the blood vessel. This will make your life a lot easier. And if you don't have any at home, you can try cornstarch, but it's not as good as Quick Stop. For cats, I recommend having churu or any type of little treats that they may love. For dogs, we use lick mats with peanut butter or yogurt or almond butter or canned pumpkin. It's best if you freeze this on there ahead of time. A couple of other things we use is smearing peanut butter on the inside of a mug and freezing it, or we also just freeze turkey baby food. It's always easier with a helper, but I do show some videos on how to do it by yourself if it's just you and your fur babies at home. Some people use heavy-duty nail files like this or a Dremel like this. I think these are also great options. I do believe that desensitization to the Dremel is key. And if you have a pet with long fur, I highly recommend using a piece of pantyhose material and stabbing the nails through the pantyhose so that it holds back the fur so that doesn't get caught in the Dremel. Okay, now for the nitty gritty. So here I'm trying to show you how to shape the nail and see the quick. So I first take the first cut vertically, and then I take 2 cuts on each side to sort of try to shape it around the quick. It's sort of difficult to see in here, but you can see where the nail is wide and then it gets narrow. The narrow part is what you want to trim off. It's just like our fingernails where they are attached to the skin. You don't want to get too close because that's the painful part. Right there you can see where the pink ends. Sometimes this can be deceiving, but if you just take the clear part off once a month, you'll be way ahead of the game. And with black nails, it's a little bit harder to see, and I'll show that in a little bit. With clear nails, it's a little bit easier to see. Right here, you can see how it's wide, and then the pink or the blood vessel ends where it's narrow, and I just trim off the top there. And sometimes you can see the blood vessel goes in a little bit to that clear part. And don't forget the dew claw. And now for the dreaded black toenails. You're still looking for the same thing where it's wide and then gets narrow, and the narrow part is the hook that you're trying to trim off. With black nails, sometimes you can see where there's sort of a gray area underneath, and then when it gets narrow, the narrow part is what you trim off. So right here, it gets a little bit better. You just trim that hook off. And you can still shape black nails once you sort of get used to it. But even if you just get that narrow part once a month, that's very, very helpful. You can sort of see right there that there's a little black dot in the middle. And if you see that within the gray tissue, that means you are close to the quick. The quick in black nails does look black. Right there is a good picture of how it's very wide and then it all of a sudden gets narrow, and that tip right there is what you want to trim off. And you can see the gray tissue there and then a tiny little black dot, and that's the quick that you're trying to avoid. This one also, these nails are pretty long. You can see how it's wide and then narrows once again. And it's very important to get the hair out of your way so you can see what you're doing. So that's what I'm doing often in this video. This is just a sped up video to show how you can hold them in your lap if they are a compliant patient to do nail trims on your own. Right here, this is just a bigger paw where the quicks are grown out to the tip, so you really only can take a tiny bit off there. So I just wanted to show another example. Kitties are a lot easier, like I said before, especially if you have a holder. The main tip is to squeeze the toes so that the nail bed comes out and you can see exactly what you're trying to trim off. They also have a pink quick, and so you just want to take off the hooks just like in dogs, but if you squeeze their toe, it pushes the nail out and makes it a lot easier. Here I'm showing how you can do it by yourself with a compliant kitty. So I sort of put them in my lap and wrap my arms around them and try to restrain them with both of my arms, sort of holding them in snug and doing the nail trim at the same time. You can also use human toenail trimmers for cat nail trims because they have really thin nails. I hope these videos helped, and if you know someone that struggles with nail trims, I would love it if you share these videos with them. And also, if you need some guidance on your nail trims, I'm sure that if you ask your veterinarian or their staff to help you, they could guide you. And if you're interested in more thoughts about holistic veterinary medicine, check out my other videos on my channel.